Playing Etali. It even hit an Atraxa. Wait, do you see that? Wait a minute. Hold up. Let me view the battlefield, please. Bro, look. The Atraxa is so small. Hello everyone, and welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about a very cool deck in the Reanimator of the Valgavoth deck. If you would, the primary goal of the deck is to do exactly what I said, and that is to bring back big giant creatures for incredibly cheap when we can and however we can. And that's going to be kind of the river region, and Overlord can also be there. We've talked about these cards quite enough. And then there's a Valgavoth and a Atraxa and an Etali, which are some cards that we might not be seeing all too often, with Valgavoth most often being like the closer and Atraxa being kind of the refill, and Etali just being another source of a kind of a fun card for us to play. A card I enjoy playing a lot, so we enjoy having it here. You could definitely drop this to maybe fill out Valgavoth or whatever, but the problem is all these creatures are legendary, so it does give you less options whenever you find more Reanimate targets to go incredibly wide. But Valgavoth, whenever this is in play, it has Ward, sacrifice 3 non-land permanents, which oftentimes no like prowess that can do. So oftentimes this is just a 9/9 lifelinker, and with Screaming Nemesis falling out of kind of best of one favor for now, this card is typically just a brick wall that prowess can never beat, unless they of course monsters rage it, and then there's obviously a lot of tough things there. But if a card you didn't control would be put in the graveyard from anywhere, from your opponent's graveyard anyway, exile it instead. During your turn, you may play the exile cards with Valgavoth. If you cast that spell, you lose life equal to its mana cost instead, so we're able to cast stuff for free. And Atraxa just being a giant 7/7, look at top 10, grab one card of each type. Having Flying, Vigilance, Death Touch, and Lifelink is also another way to brick wall, but obviously this can get hit with Flood Maul and things, so you have to be careful of that. But our main Reanimate pieces are Valgavoth's Faithful. This card doesn't have to tap to be activated, so for 5 mana we can play a creature and activate it for 4, or we can use Zombify as kind of like a worse version. The Faithful is a worse version of Zombify, but it is also nice. And then we have Cruelty of Gix. This is a card that I guess will rotate at the end of the year, so if you don't really want to grab this, just play more Faithfuls. Obviously, it's also an uncommon instead of a rare. But this card's only nice just because you get to look at your opponent's hand, and then you can search your library for like another Reanimate spell, and then the bottom part will reanimate for free, and then you can bring something back as well. Or you can find a way to discard something in response to the Reanimate for the next following turn. So it's pretty cool there. Other than that, we're just trying to stay alive with torches, bitter triumphs when we can, ill-time explosion to board wipe / discard our stuff when we need to, and fear and light shatter just to also add extra draw and discard into our deck that we will find super valuable. So with that said, let's go ahead and dive into the games. Okay, not on the play, which is obviously horrifying, but our mountain does turn on both our verges, which is really cool, and we do have like a way to mill with the Zombify in hand, so it'll just kind of matter if the matchup's right, or if we do draw like a decent effect that fear can just discard when we play it on 2. Other than that, obviously we're going to need removal if it's a really fast matchup. We'll see. I would say it's either fast or we have time. I don't really know. Playing a Surveil land here is pretty dope though. Another land right now is not what I require, because if it's another land as well, I'm going to be feeling really far behind. But if I can rip one of our top end threats against turn 1 Landware Elf, I'll be pretty pumped. I don't know what my opponent's on. It could just be mono green, which would tell me it's like an Ugin pile. If not just mono green, it could be Golgari. Could be a question mark game. I don't know. Fable Passage kind of screams to me that it's a different color deck. Delirium? Or Gruul big stuff. I don't know. Could go for fear, but I think I just play Overlord now. There's an Atraxa and a fear and a light shatter. I think I grab fear for now. Actually going to be a really good card to bring back. Could have bitter triumph the Landware Elf, but Keemer Dragons, I guess. Okay. Yeah, maybe should have bitter triumph that, but so be it. I mean, what's the worst that happens? I lose the game, I guess. I guess so. I mean, it's still going to end up on 5 or 6 mana, but if they play another land, they end up on 7, and things like Etali are playable then. Oh boy. What a task. Actually, here I'm gonna pay through life, I guess. Because the idea of Ill-Time Explosion being able to discard a 7-mana spell to take out their 7 drops is important. Sure. Fine with me, I guess. Atraxa. Valgavoth. Enchantment. Land. This will put me over max hand size, which is huge. Discard Valgavoth. Now somehow we have to get a Fear and a Valgavoth back into play, which obviously Cruelty can do it. 7 life vigilance creature is going to help out a lot. But what will they end up playing here? They have to hit on land to make a dragon in order to play the Dragon Storm, which will then make more dragons, I think, right? When 1 or more. Okay. Pretty cool. Read ahead, discard a number of cards, and then draw that many cards. I mean, at least Atraxa's got Death Touch, I guess. That's all I got to say. Dealing 2 damage to each creature and each opponent won't necessarily get it done because the 7 damage I'll do anyway. I could also Ill-Time Explosion and wipe out all the 4 drops. Not necessarily that big of a deal. Resident, obviously not necessarily the card they want. Land 4/4. Pick up the Dragon Storm. They'll make 2 more 4/4s next turn. Obviously, for me, I don't have a second black, so I can't cast this. That sucks, actually. Actually, really whack. Oh boy. Oh boy. To keep Etali or to not keep Etali. I mean, I guess I'm gonna draw it here, right? How about? I don't know if they have a way to answer Atraxa. I have no clue. Could be like a Scorching Dragonfire or something, a Torch maybe. Where a card like Fable Passage is just so good for them. Alright, well that hits. Plays Fear, I guess. Do play like overwhelming board wipes, but we'll get rid of Atraxa here. Put that Etali in our hand so we don't have any fear. So this put it in as a card that they could have. But I think the thing I want to do more than anything is... I'm going to probably be board wiping next turn. Oh man, what a weird one. Because I think the idea is going to be create a dragon after they pick us up. Yeah, and there's the Dragonfire. So I'm most likely board wiping anyway. I could put a Valgavoth in play because it takes so much for them to answer a Valgavoth. It's not even funny. Yeah, so this is going to enter. It's going to make 2 more dragons. They're going to pick it back up. And if they have another land drop, they can pick it back up. It's a very, very cool deck if they get it going. And for us, it's a little bit slower and kind of relies on our Valgavoth just being like an answer, right? It'll be a bit tougher for us to just grind this game out. So make it in different types. That's kind of cool. Making different types of dragons to make it 4/4. Alright, sweet. So that's a pretty big creature as well. But thankfully Atraxa has given us a big bridge. Huh. Now we have a choice. Oh, Zombify is a great rip. Now we have a choice, right? Because they can make as many dragons as they want. But I'd much rather bring out, like for this specific moment, I'd much rather bring out a Valgavoth and have it be put in play and then just chump block with my Fear on a situation of the wagon wheel. We'll play this and probably get rid of Valgavoth again. It is so much mana, and if I draw another land, I'm obviously going to be casting Etali. Their deck is a deck that I would truly appreciate, I don't know, having Etali hit out of, but... Valgavoth's Faithful is another Reanimate spell, so we're looking good there. Obviously, no attack here. Doesn't make any sense. I can definitely do an attack scheme where I attack with one fear, attack with a Valgavoth, go to that second combat, attack with another fear, attack with a Valgavoth again. Is indeed how we can do that. Because whenever this creature attacks for the first time each turn, it does it. So it's kind of like whatever. I guess my Overlord can just take this out. They don't even play this, by the way. They refuse to. That's 11. They make a dragon on the back end. This attack screams that they need me to block. 4, 8, 12. Yeah, I'm not blocking. Not when I have such a good attack here. I don't think it makes sense to block. We get their wagon wheel, I guess. It's cool. Is it a wagon wheel? Or world wagon? Sure. I mean, they're obviously going to make a lot more dragons here, which is okay, but we know what our ale time has in store for us. Oh, is that one land? It was 2. Why did it only look like 1? Weird. Okay. I would like to... Unfortunately, I can't do that. I just have to ill time here, right? Which does suck. I would love to get those attacks able to happen. So discard here, discard. I mean, I guess with that I can discard this. Deal 5 to everything. Then I will attack here for 9. And then I will pay 3 life to do this. I'll try. I'll take a little gander here. Then I'll play Fear. Unfortunately, having to discard here, but we can just discard the Etali and reanimate it. Finding a land, so I guess I can play. I'm actually weirdly going to hold that land, and I know that sounds awkward and weird, like why would we do that? But if I bring back Etali and I hit this card out of their deck, I'm going to want to be able to go get a land to make another dragon, which is weird, especially with this. And I only have 2 more basics in the deck. Not really likely to hit one of them. My Fear is also turned online, so Valgavoth is like technically lethal. Well, alright. Well, my chances of doing that is significantly worse. Now I probably have to... do what? 1 ill time in there. Take some much. Like, how many more bases can they possibly have in their deck? What, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I mean, I guess if their whole deck's basics, then it's literally 26 probably. Yeah, I mean, that would make sense, right? Now it feels like I should pop this land, because the odds are so low. Especially now that they've hit 2 of these, but we'll give it a shot. I'm a man of my word. Did hit a bit of Triumph. I hit a Brotherhood End, which is weirdly close. I don't even want to cast any of these, really. I guess I could better Triumph one of these down. Ooh. Is that a little too crazy? That's probably a little too crazy. Pay 3 life here. Pop one of these. Just find that, I guess. Pop this. Here. Play land. Now I could go right for Reanimate, because they're not going to have a creature in their deck. So, I mean, I think I do this and I grab an Atraxa, right? Now, I'd like my graveyard, thank you. Atraxa, please. Tali's good. Disenchantment's good. Surveillance, fine. And then I can bring up this and I can attack for almost lethal. I would put them to 1. But yeah, what a wild game that was. Just have to channel our inner omniscience, right? We just surveil and immediately put a good threat in there. Well, land will keep, I guess. Diversify. Plays land. Plays Fear. What do I get rid of here? Alright, well. Okay, my bad. Sorry, dog. Didn't mean to interrupt you like that. I think if the extra draws, I'm just gonna get rid of a land here. Yeah. I assume we'd find another one, but maybe not that quick. Now I think it's maybe Light Shatter time or maybe Overlord time. Just get this cooking. Probably should have played this over the Fear anyway. We'll grab one of them back. Yeah, sure. You're missing out a little bit. That's fine. Unstoppable Slasher. Okay. Well, if I know anything, let's deck then first. Grab another black source here. Then we're going to play the Light Shatter. Discard this Atraxa and this land, I guess. No, we can't get rid of the land. Let's just get rid of the Fear, right? Alright, well, I can torch this and get rid of it permanently. But we can always bring back the Atraxa and then kind of reload our hand and try to figure out the game from there. Now, Valgavoth will be incredible in this matchup if we can get it to go down that way. Sure. I'm gonna pop my Overlord. Which does suck, but I think it's necessary here. I don't think we want to run into a situation where a slasher is allowed to run loose for a couple extra turns. Land, I guess I can just bottom. We're already gonna get to do the cruelty. And I think with that draw, I much rather just double barrel this. Like, look at their hand, take a creature, and then look to, like, do some stuff there. Unholy Annex, okay. So now I can go find maybe a Zombify or something, bring out the Atraxa. Annex gonna do whatever. They have a go for the throat. Or I rip a Zombify. That will do it. No, what then? Do I just grab... I have no idea, because this Atraxa is going to give me a ton of value. Most likely finding a land or something anyway. So I guess I can grab this. Or maybe I just grab another Overlord, right? No, it's a weird situation to be in. Maybe I just grab removal? I don't know. I'm going to grab this, actually. As weird as that is to say. Then I'm going to opt for the creature version here. I'm going to use my actual Zombify. Zombify is cheaper overall. Bring out Atraxa. Then they're obviously going to go for the throaty Atraxa, but I still get the whole, like, value of it. Most likely we'll hit a land, and then we can go and play the Regent next turn just from our hand. And then that'll allow us to bounce our thing. So we grab this. We grab this. Grab this. I grab this. Then I grab this. And I put a full grip back in my hand. What? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We actually don't play our land here. So we can discard a Valgavoth for free. I don't know if you know this about Valgavoth. It's pretty good. I'm sure we might get drained and gained a bit here, but unless they have a Shieldred's Edict, Valgavoth's going to be every answer we ever need. But I also think I can just reset this board. Oh, wait, I get to put it in play for free. Never mind, we're nuts. Yeah, we did that for a reason. Now Edict won't do anything, because now we'll bounce this and this. They can reset that if they'd like. Yeah, never mind. We had a game plan. It all came together. Exactly the way I wanted. Alright, sure. We'll go back up to 20 after losing 2, and that's all fine with me. I mean, I'm gonna smoke them this turn, so it doesn't really matter what they do. Who knows? Maybe I just play this. We can both figure out this game. Alright, that makes sense. The 15 in the air I thought was enough to maybe draw out a concession, but it wasn't. So with that said, we win. We move on. Well, now we just need to draw the Reanimate spell and have a big threat in my hand whenever they make me discard, right? Kind of one of those situations. Sure. Pop this. Think I want to grab a swamp here, although I would like to maybe open up my hand a little bit. It's just not going to work out that way. My hand's kind of locked up, and there's a basic mountain. Which is a-okay for the most part. Torch this. We're okay with getting hit with Hopeless Nightmare kind of over and over again. This is one of those situations where as long as we make our 4 land drops and we draw a big threat, then everything will work out. Overlord is fine to keep at this point. Torch feels like the card I'm supposed to throw away. That's her just talking about the land. It feels like I shouldn't. Light Shatter is also pretty sweet. But I think I'll just let the Overlord go because worst case I discard it, right? So now I do land. I play the Light Shatter. And I do need to look, I think, for the card that we want. And there's a Zombify, which is sweet. So worst case scenario, we just play land. We reanimate the Overlord and buy back another creature or something. Nowhere to run, probably coming in to answer Light Shatter or something like that. At least I would assume. At least with our Overlord, we can pick up some stuff. If they... Oh! Okay. Alright, alright, alright. I see you, I see you. I mean... I know where I stand. Well, it wasn't coming anytime soon, so... Thankfully, we didn't wait too long. Of course you hit my Zombify. Of course. But that's okay. We don't have a second swamp for this either, which is quite funny. But our Overlord's going to be able to trigger for free every turn. At this point, I'll just get rid of the land. Because without the second swamp, it's kind of useless right now. You're going to take more damage here? For all second swamp anyway. Who cares? Smile. Combat. No, unfair. Honestly, at this point, I might just draw 2. Decline to discard anything. Play land, play the Faithful. Tell my opponent to go. Now, if Light Shatter's answered, if Faithful's answered, I have another Haster that kind of wins because they have to either play a Demon here, which they're not able to do, it seems. Fear, I think, is a card that's slow. I can obviously just hard cast the Overlord as well. Okay. And I just have nothing that's good in my graveyard, huh? Like the worst game. Oh, 1, I guess. Let's hard cast this. Brother, is there not going to be a big spell in my graveyard at all? I'm almost halfway through and I haven't hit anything like Reanimate worthy other than my Overlord. My opponent's also just struggling to play the game because their own Unholy Annex is bullying them. Yeah, they have to pick up their own Annex so they don't die to it. Which is something, to say the least. Here. Here. We're just going to hit lands. Okay, we'll put an Atraxa away. We'll play this. I will move the combat, and I will try to swing for lethal. And then I'll play 2 Fear of Missing Outs and go from there. What was that? All right, seems like definitely a more reasonable hand than what we kind of had to deal with last game. Except I guess our red mana is not online, which is a bit weird. I'm going to play this in case I find a Surveil land that turns it on, so Torch the Tower can be used. The rest. Gigs up. We're done for. Oh, and there's Bitter Triumph too. Let's play an Overlord. Might as well get it cooking against the mono black match. Okay, there's a second Zombify in there. That's not great for us. Means we're just going to be way less likely to find it now. Or we're going to get the Arena Classico where they're all on top of our library. If I play this island, I still don't have the red mana available, which is kind of tragic. But either way I do it, the Light Shatter won't be playable here. So might as well just play the island down. Get a little more information for now. Huh. Sure, I guess. Well, kind of exactly what we're looking for. Another land I'll let go. Interesting. But they don't have mana up. I'm going to bargain this and pop this. And let that go. Now we have pretty much Bitter Triumph or Light Shatter and to discard this Etali at any point. Or we can just get to the point where we hard cast an Etali. Yeah, like here is definitely a discard action. Get rid of Etali and hope we get there. Another land. I will play this and I'll discard both these lands, I guess. Zombify does have a good chance to be hit here. We just hope it doesn't get hit. Overlord gets hit, but that's also fine. But now we want to be able to attack with Light Shatter, hopefully, and then hit Zombify and bring back something good. Kind of the downside of this card, the way it works in our deck specifically, is whenever we play it, it's not necessarily the best card to attack with. You don't have like just good hits in your graveyard, which quite frankly right now you have like mediocre ones. So definitely going to attack. That if I do hit the Zombify, I'm going to cast it. We hit the Etali perfectly. If they block, I'll probably ill time and just draw the cards. Okay, they do, because they're afraid of me hitting that, which totally makes sense. So let us then first. We have 2 swamps. We have 3 islands. We have 2 red sources, so we just grab a swamp. Cast this. Gonna be a draw too, effectively. Decline to discard anything right now. But yeah, fortunately we hit the Etali. The card we wanted to bring back was Zombify, but doesn't always work out that way. Oh, the rest hits our Bitter Triumph, I guess. We understand that. Hand was solid too. It's just the hard part of the game. Well, we know Atraxa can like never be played here, so play Fear. We get rid of Atraxa. Maybe hit. Not quite. One more turn to kind of do nothing. And then we have a Regent to cast. Got stuff in our graveyard. Eventually we hope to figure it out, but I have no idea. Also, maybe I just cast a Regent. Is that so bad? You know what I mean? It feels like just casting this, making them pick both those up is just good. Yeah, I think that's where I'm at. The draw is fine, but I have to figure out how to win another way, I think. Gonna be the old Fear beatdown plan. The other thing is now if we rip an Etali off the top, we can cast it. Valgavoth, obviously we can't. Any Reanimate piece, we have 4 left in the deck. The 2 creatures and 2 more Zombifies. Actually, we have 6. A Cruelty at Gix can also be done. Gildred, sure. Go for the third for the region, I assume then. I assume. Nothing else makes sense here. Okay. Also a Reanimate deck. Look at him go. Old time explosion. Okay. I will take 4 damage here. Okay. No. Go ahead. Well, It's just one. Gotta be one. It sucks, but just where we're at, unfortunately. Another 6/6. Now it definitely has to be one very quickly. And that's the Torch the Tower. Unfortunate, but it is what it is. Alright, we get to go first here. I mean, obviously we're going to grab a mountain with our first fetch that we get off Fable Passage. I'm just going to do it right now. I don't really care to waste too much time. I don't know if they get too much information off of me just grabbing a mountain. Is it? Okay, so this can work pretty heavy in our favor, especially if they play sleight of hand first. We can go right into Fear, right into discarded Etali. Could keep my hand kind of a secret, but I don't know if it necessarily matters. Play Fear now. Let's get rid of the Etali. Another land, not the best, obviously. Another Fear can discard land. That would put... Actually, I guess we already have a land in our discard zone, right? Oh, Atraxa. Okay, you can go in there. And then now I just kind of have to hold, weirdly enough. Because most likely this Torch is going to be barreling on this Slick Shot. Sure. Huh. Because the thing is, if they Monster Rage it, typically that would save it, but we can bargain our Slick Shot with our Fear to, like, actually answer it. Sure. Yes. I can't pay for Spell Pierce, so I didn't want to overbudge right there. It seems like a bad idea. Although I am going to play another Fear here, though. Land, creature, nothing really else. Okay. The pause here kind of makes me feel like it's there, but I think it's just discard this land. There's a Zombify. Alright, sweet. We hold the ground. With Corey Steelcutters, having 2/3s is really good. Especially if it's like Corey Steelcutters, cast one spell, and then maybe not have prowess. We can also double block. Opt, sure. That all resolves. We'll also put an instant and a enchantment in our deck, right in our graveyard, so that means the other Fear will actually be turned on, which is cool. Sure. We're not going to look to take this hit now, though. Leave that card on top, which is interesting. Bargain here. Sacrifice this. Now if it's just Torch the Tower, it doesn't work. If they use the Spell Pierce, then our Zombify will resolve, hopefully. Obviously, they could have a second one, but if this Torch resolves, land, please go away. And we're more likely to kind of have good value here. I mean, I'm going for it. If they have Counterspell, they have Counterspell. Is it Atraxa or it's Atraxa? It's not Etali. Etali's such a gamble. Like, a gamble I love playing, but it's got to be Atraxa. Atraxa, looking at a million cards in my hand, is definitely the better option. I guess land. I got Bitter Triumph, and of creatures, I guess it's supposed to be a Valgavoth because that's like unkillable for them. Yeah. Kind of wish we went above max hand size here, because then that would help out a lot. Into the Flood Maul, sure. Don't really have anything else in there, right? I mean, I got the Etali. We can attack now, funnily enough, because we can untap our creature. And then we obviously won't attack. We're stuck in the same boat as we've been stuck in. But that's why something like Valgavoth matters so much whenever you get it into the graveyard, which we can 100% do here. Because they're not just going to be able to target it ever. They do nothing. Okay. Play like what feels like the 5th Fear missing out. This resolve, boss. I don't know if it does, and if it does, I don't know what they do. They didn't have a counterspell before, and they only drew 1 card, so I guess for me it's just why not barrel it? But I will go to combat. I will attack. Okay, that's fun. I will bring out a Valgavoth from my deck. They cannot target that unless they sacrifice a ton. I mean, they can still target it, I guess. Sacrifice 3 non-land permanents. And a 9/9 seems pretty unkillable. The only thing it can that kills it is the Slick Shot. Or if they're Screaming Nemesis deck, I guess. But I was say, I don't know how... I just don't know how Corey Steelcutter beats it, but yeah, we'll take the win. Very cool. Going first here. This isn't turned on. We can go just fetch out a red if we want. I guess since we're on the play, we should lower the amount of chances to draw a land here. We have a swamp in our hand, so I'm definitely going to grab a mountain. I like all my verges to be turned on. Weird phrase to say out loud, I know, but I'll say it again. I'll do it again. We'll just play this. Go ahead and just barrel this on that. Don't even have to worry about it. Now, if we can draw a good threat, any threat really, that our Light Shatter can discard here, that would be huge. Or we miss entirely. Either works. Light Shatter. We will discard one of our lands. I guess probably the Verge, right? Like, why would it be the blue-red one? Another Light Shatter? Sure. Nope. Probably have a Burst Lightning in hand or a Monstrous Rage. There's a lot of options it could be. Alright, Monstrous Rage it is. Or with Stalker Frenzy? I feel like I got away with murder on that one. That's crazy. Oh boy. I'm ill timing. No. And relax. Alright, we can actually do this differently, I guess. We can do it like this. Because if I keep the land, right, I can play land and just play a 5/5. Like, I'll take that. Fire Claw could give it haste, could hit me for 3 this turn. Not near as bad as it could be. Like, I feel like we're fine for where this match could be right now. But these lands are getting harder to stomach every time it happens. I'll tell you that much. Well, I'll buy this Light Shatter back. Zombify bringing this back is just an enter the battlefield. It's kind of sick. You can even pick up our Overlord if we wanted to. Obviously, Overlord's going to jump in front of this Hired Claw. Just 0 chance that it's ever not. Unless they have another Witchstalker Frenzy, which would suck. But we're definitely going to block here. Yep. 5 toughness is huge. Alright, that's exactly what we needed here. Cool. Okay. Can they beat a 6/7? No idea. Can I beat a 6/7? Not really. Actually, I can just cast it. I'm gonna put this back in play and I'm gonna grab the Regent out of my graveyard. To be honest with you. I feel like that's a much better play. There goes an Etali. Do I have a mana for Etali? I do, right? Never mind. I'm grabbing Etali. I'm gonna play a land and I'm gonna hard cast this little fella. Big fella. This dude. I'm gonna cast him. I'm gonna block that. I will block it again. I will block every creature you put into play. My life total matter too much. Yep. Of course we throw a block. Eventually they'll run out of creatures. At least you would think. Alright, they wasted a Monstrous Rage. That's pretty awesome for us. Played Etali. It even hit an Atraxa. Wait, do you see that? Wait a minute. Hold up. Let me view the battlefield, please. Bro, look. The Atraxa is so small. I don't know if you can see that. It's like really, really small. Just there's a very small version of Atraxa down there. Oh, that's funny. Oh, that's funny. All right, everybody. Here we are. We're going to talk about the list a little bit and kind of how it can go ups and downs. You know, the highs and lows, if you would. But yeah, if we can kind of do what we want, which is obviously easier said than done, But, you know, if Omniscience can do it, sure, we can do it too. But if the cards are flowing well, this deck works pretty well. And it does work quite better than I would think it would overall. And I do think a couple of things might need to change for, like, kind of future builds. For example, I'm not entirely sold on cards like Ill-Time Explosion or Fear of Missing Out to some extent. Whenever we do have a card like this River Regent that won great reanimate target, even though if we do use the omen side it's like way less, obviously, because it shuffles itself back in. But if we're able to put this in the graveyard, worst case scenario, we can zombify it out, and against aggro decks we put 2 permanents back in their hand, because this doesn't specify you have to cast this creature to return the stuff. And also running copies of like the rest in a spot where, like, okay, maybe we don't have fear in the deck, maybe we cut the ill time and we can do like we can add like 2 more of these and then stack up on the rest is, so we're able to interact with our opponent. Maybe even just play like the 1 black mana that also can hit an artifact or a creature. Because realistically, it's an odd situation that we find ourselves in when it comes to this. But the reanimate spells alone seem like they're enough, where we're on 4 zombifies and 4 other copies of ways to reanimate. That seems fine. The other kind of downside is we might need to play a... No, I'm 2 colors off this. I don't have a green or a white. So yeah, so we're probably never going to be able to cast that. I think with this card being so good and how often we can just draw 3 and discard a card and not have to really reveal ourselves until our opponent's end step, I think it's significantly better. In a lot of cases, even better than technically this Overlord, where you can just play it a bit slower and we'll always end up finding it with a River Regent. So it's kind of awkward there. But with that said, I hope you all enjoyed the video anyway. I had a lot of fun playing the deck. It was kind of a refreshing game experience, whereas like everything is just super aggro based right now, so being able to be the deck that bullies them a bit is pretty nice. So with that said, I hope you all enjoyed, and I'll catch you in the next one. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.